So in 2020, I used to look like this, and I used to think, I just can't pack on muscle. It must be my genetics, or my metabolism's too fast. That's why I can't pack on muscle. Or I've been training for a long period of time. My body just doesn't respond to weight training. In reality, I was falling into one of these, or to be fair, probably all four of these mistakes. I fixed them, and now in 2025, I look like this. And when I walk around doing my steps in a warm country with my top off, I get some nice looks, which is nice. Which is like, it's confirmation that we've grown. You know how when fat people lose a lot of weight and they're like, oh, my belt loop's coming and my clothes fit better. That's like the equivalent of a skinny guy that's actually been able to stick on some muscle. It's like people notice when you're walking around. It's like, oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, you look pretty decent. That's what I want from you in this video. So first, we're going to uncover why you are not gaining any muscle, and we're going to fix it. We're just going to use one specific working set here to go over this. So the very first mistake I was ever doing when it came to lifting weights, and machines will fix this very, very nicely for you, is not actually thinking and using the working muscle that you're supposed to be training with. Like, this may blow a lot of your minds. A lot of you will get on this and just press that bar forwards. That's it. When in reality, if we look at this, what we're trying to train is our chest. Our chest will start here. It will run across the rib cage and it inserts here onto the upper arm, the humerus. So when you're doing this movement, do not just think we're going to get on this chest press and we're just going to press it forward from the handles. The hands, anything from the elbow is technically kind of irrelevant. It's going to move anyway. What I want you to focus on is the arm path of the exercise. What's the function of the chest? The function of the chest is to pull this arm towards the midline of the body. So when you do the movement, think about driving your upper arm towards the midline of the body. See there how it, like, I popped forward and you could tell I was just thinking about driving the upper arm together. This is how you actually feel and use your working muscle. A lot of you go in the gym and you globally move weights from A to B, and I was very good at this to the point where I got into powerlifting. And to be fair, maybe the year or two before this was taken, I was like back squatting at a powerlifting competition, like 170 at like 69 kgs. That's how excuse me. That's how efficient I was, or how inefficient I was at putting mechanical tension on a working muscle to get it to grow. I was that good at it. I just did powerlifting, and that honestly, that method of training where everyone just thinks just getting move as much weight as possible, it doesn't work. I've tried, boys. All it does, it turns you into a powerlifter, but you still kind of look like this. Not great. Not great at all. So what we must understand is using the working muscle. So in the analogy here for your chest, you're only going to drive your upper arm towards the midline of your body. If it's the lats, we know the lats are going to insert onto the back of our humerus. Your only goal is to drive your elbow towards your hip. Always just think, where does the muscle start and where does it finish? And let's be honest, you don't train that many muscles where you're like, oh, I need a full anatomy course. It's like, no, you understand that where does the bicep start and finish? Where's the tricep start and finish? Where's the shoulder start and finish? You can literally like touch and feel them. Like, so you can understand, like, it's pretty simple. Like, people try and overcomplicate, it's not. The next thing I want you to focus on is how long each repetition lasts. Let's watch a rep, for example, here. So we're going to come down, pause, and we're going to come back up. So notice how we're just steadily coming down and driving back up. We're not trying to take forever, because a lot of you will then drop off so much intensity because you're lifting so slow that you don't train hard enough anyway. So I've found a middle ground for this, and from coaching many people, where you want to come down under control and then go back into the movement. That's what we want to see here. Control. The rule of thumb, control all your movements. A lot of you just lift weights like a sewing machine and wonder why mechanical tension isn't put on the working muscle. If you lift the weight like a sewing machine, you're not going to look like a sewing machine, but you're just not going to grow any muscle. So slow it down. Just slow it down and just be in control. If I'm telling you to train the working muscle and put tension on the working muscle, to actually make sure that happens, you can't lift weights as fast as you see most people lifting them in the gym. Because otherwise you just lose the concept of control. Remember, like, if you do anything too fast, you're going to lose like your ability to stay control. Think of the last time you were with a woman and you went too fast. You know what happens there, right? So it's similar for growing muscle. The next factor, so we've spoke about the arm path, bicep to pec here. We spoke about lifting it for control. The next thing we want to just get the most out of is the full range. So let's say you press to the top, you come down, down, down. You bring your arms as far back as the joint will allow it, and also the muscle, and obviously the machine that it is you're using. But just think of this, the more distance that can travel, the more tension you can put on the muscle, and the more you can train it through the full length, which gives it the better chance to grow. It's like the same way, if we said you're only allowed to move all your reps like that, you know that's not going to be good for you, right? So just as the rule of thumb, go as deep as you can, what your structure will allow. I get it, some of you are going to have shoulder injuries and whatnot, and that's not going to make sense to go all the way like deep enough. A lot of you, if you're trying to do an RDL, will lose, like you'll be going down and you'll start to curve. Just stop before you're going to start to curve. Earn the right to get to the range, but always be thinking, did I go deep enough? Because most of you don't go deep enough because the bottom bit is hard. That's why a lot of people just don't go deep enough. So we've understood that we must drive the arm towards, bicep towards the pec, arm path. We've understood slow it down or just lift with control. We've understood full range of motion. The last thing we want to make sure we track is how long we take to do our last repetition. So as we're on here, we can see that we're grinding through to get out that last little bit. And we'll call this intensity. A lot of people say, train hard, and everyone thinks they train hard. But here's how you just very quickly, like objectively decide if you train hard. How long did it take to contract the working muscle? So on this we went down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. And I wasn't counting too quick as you would like to think. Maybe it was at least 4 either way. But if we said 4 seconds to contract the working muscle, you definitely train hard. That's just, like you could lower it under 4 seconds. That'd take a fair while. If you are training that hard and your last rep takes 4 seconds to contract, tick. Your rep was that was a failure rep in my view. You might not have even fully contracted, in which case definitely a failure rep, and that's okay. But honestly, as soon as I started actually applying this started to happen. So like I thought, it's metabolism, this, that, and the other. In reality, it's just not applying those 4 basics, because you do those, you're going to naturally get stronger and stronger and stronger. The weight's going to go up and up and up, and you're going to grow. So that's literally it, boys. There's 4 main things to a lift. Do those, you'll go from this to this. If you want me to help you do this, there'll be a link in the description. You can join us in the Gorilla Platoon on the other side, where we help men get results like this each and every week, and then we just speak about them online. But no pressure. If this is for you, I'll see you on the inside. If not, I'll see you in tomorrow's video.